This Week in Toowoomba, bringing you an in-depth coverage of the events and news that made Toowoomba tick this week.
Jeffrey Black. I've been asked to help out the Beatles concert, Abbey Road to Empire, 6th of October, Empire Theatre. Yes, I'm a collector of Beatles memorabilia.
Oh, tell us about some of the things from your collection.
Oh, goodness. I've been collecting for a long, long time. The first record that I ever bought was, in fact, Paperback Writer in 1966 as a 13-year-old, going into the local record store, Harling's record store in Queen Street in Brisbane, and I think I've been hooked ever since. Mind you, records are only 99 cents each then, so they're a bit more affordable than they are these days. But the internet has been fantastic in helping collectors hook themselves up with sellers, and sometimes sellers who have quite rare items, including some of them that are here today. Items that come from collections around Toowoomba, from collectors around Toowoomba, and from collectors a bit further afield. Collectors of all types are usually fairly quiet people, quite reserved people, but I thought that it'd be good to put a collection out of Beatles memorabilia ahead of the concert, to promote the concert, of course, and to remind people of how great this songwriting team of Lennon and McCartney were, not forgetting George Harrison, and the contribution that they've made to popular music. Their song Yesterday is the most recorded song in history, and is the subject of a new film at the moment, which is engaging with a whole new generation of young people connecting with the music of Lennon and McCartney.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, just tell us a couple of the standout pieces for you guys.
Yeah. The collection consists of mainly artefacts that come from their later career, because we are celebrating in October the 50th anniversary of the release of the Beatles' final album called Abbey Road. It came out in the UK and America at the end of September. Typically Australia, New Zealand, South Africa got it a few weeks later. In fact, on the very day that the concert is being held in Toowoomba is the day of the release 50 years ago of the Beatles album. So here we have some Abbey Road memorabilia. I was fortunate enough recently to win at auction a gold record from EMI New Zealand. That gold record celebrates $1 million worth of sales of the album Abbey Road. So it's a prize now in my collection. It's something that you they just don't come up. You just don't see them. And if you're going to be buying a gold record, you've got to have quite deep pockets. Some of the items here also include some signed pieces. There's a wonderful little story attached to the signing of a book, of one of John Lennon's book of poetry. Check that one out. And also another set of signatures on a Letter B CD that was gathered in 1988, shortly after the re-release of the album on CD. Missing John, of course, after John was brutally murdered in 1980. Yeah.
What do you love most about Beatles? What drew you to them?
Well, I think that's a difficult question to explain the impact of the Beatles unless you lived it. And I know that's a little crass to say that, but when the Beatles grew moustaches, we grew moustaches. When they wore caftans, we wore caftans. When they grew beards, we grew beards. So it was about growing up with them. Even girlfriends. We seem to acquire girlfriends around the same time as well. But ultimately, of course, that led to the split up, the breakup of the Beatles. But I think you can't deny their songwriting ability. Lennon and McCartney, I would consider to be 21st or 20th century Beethovens and Mozarts. Their impact will be felt for hundreds of years to come. I have no doubt about that. As a unit, they were ahead of the game all the time. They were setting the trends in music, and others caught up. Bands like the Byrds just paid homage to the Beatles' 12-string acoustic sound. Bands like the Hollies and the Animals and the Rolling Stones tried to compete with some degree of success, but not all the time. So yeah, they and in Australia, especially during the 1964 tour, we just fell head over heels in love with the Beatles. And mums and dads liked them because Paul McCartney just looked so clean cut. Little did they know.
This is Barry for This Week in Toowoomba. We are at Visual Focus today, and I have Ruth Atkinson with me. Welcome to the show, Ruth.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Ruth, tell me a little bit about Visual Focus and what you do. We're here in your new venue today. What does Visual Focus do?
Well, we do lots of things, mainly commercial, education, residential. We do theatrical work, and we also have a corporate hire department. So everything to do with audiovisual, installation, setting up, designing systems, servicing, maintenance. So we do that all. Anything to do with AV.
Okay. And how long has Visual Focus been alive for?
Oh, well, it was established in 2002, so about 17 years now. And we've probably people in Toowoomba have known us for being over near Grand Central, but we've expanded and exploded from our little space over there, and this is our brand new showroom. So we're very, very excited to have a new space and have a bit of room to move.
Yes, I remember your showroom from over at Grand Central. The other thing about your showroom here is that you can park.
Yes, that's you've always been able to park over at Grand Central, of course, but over here you can have your own parking space on our property. So that's makes it easier for people to come in, get some equipment, load up, and head off on some AV jobs.
Right. And what about the general public? Is there can the general public get things here as well?
Oh, absolutely, yes. So general public, all sorts of general public. So for homes and residential, we do home theatres, in-ceiling speakers, Sonos equipment, all sorts of AV that you might want in your home. Commercial operations, everything from boardrooms, projection in large venues, in microphones. If you're into music, there's PA systems. As I said, everything AV. If you're working at a school, then nowadays every school classroom has an interactive projection system.
Yes.
Often it's an Epson projection system, so we have Epson on board with us here at the showroom as well. We also do interactive screens, so like TV screens that are interactive. You can also save from those. So all sorts of educational tools and training systems, we can do those too. So I guess the general public, depending what they need in the way of AV, give us a call. We probably can design it, install it, and make it happen.
Okay, terrific. Now, just tell me a little bit about you. What do you do here?
I kind of just hang around, do a bit of marketing. We've got about 10 full-time staff here, all very, they know so much more about AV and technology than I do, for sure. So I probably give them all the backup support here. Bit of marketing, a bit of finance work, help make sure that everything's running smoothly, and let them do the job that they do best, which is understanding technology, playing with new equipment, and helping our customers to put AV into their places.
Right, terrific. Now, tell us, how do people find you?
We're just close to Herries, James Street, in between. It's 3 Taunton Street now. Anyone's welcome. We're open every day, so you're welcome to come in, have a look around, explore our home theatre, our boardroom, or our equipment, and ask our very knowledgeable staff exactly how they can help you with your AV.
And Taunton Street, I noticed before, joins to the street that you were in before, right?
Clifford, sorry, you're not too far off Clifford Street. Yeah, so if you're up near Whipples or Grand Central, you just come past Whipples, across Harry Street and up Langton Street, and there we are on the corner, a big black building, can't miss us.
Right. And can people find you on the net?
Yes, we're on the net. If you are looking at Google, you probably see the old shed that was here. So the transformation is quite dramatic. So do Google 3 Taunton for a look at the old shed, and then come in and see how beautiful it is now. Okay,
and you have you've got a website.
Oh, totally, yes.
Yep.
Visual,
what's your address?
Visualfocus.com.au. So easy to remember.
Okay, and phone number?
4632 0402.
Terrific. Okay, well, we'll have a bit of a look around here, and this has been Barry for the This Week in Toowoomba show. We've been coming to you from Visual Focus today in Toowoomba. We'll catch you again next time.
Peter Ruckus for Power TV Australia, and of course we're at the Sports Darling Downs annual breakfast that they have. They have 3 breakfasts throughout the year, and of course they name the sports stars for the various months. And speaking with the president of Sports Darling Downs, Mick Smith, and Mick, another successful awards, another successful breakfast, and what are we moving into the 21st year of Sports Darling Downs?
21st year, Ruko, and we distribute over $1 million. So we're heading towards 2 million. So that's the goal. This morning, 140 people here at breakfast, and what a great concept we've started. I didn't know we were going to start such a big thing, but look, so proud of what we've done at Sports Darling Downs, and the great cross-section of sport. You know, just at the breakfast here this morning, you see different sports, and all great kids.
Yeah, they are. Look, they're terrific, and the quality, Mick, unbelievable. With the nominations you had to leave out quite a number of athletes.
Yeah, it's really disappointing in that regard, because we have actually left out 6 Queensland representatives. They couldn't quite make it into the incentive awards to make one of the monthlies. Yeah, you're looking at Australian representative.
Well, yeah, you're looking at world records, and some of the kids did achieve world records, and of course Australian representation. It's a brilliant concept, and the sponsors, they've been loyal, Mick, all these years.
Yeah, every now and then we might have one drop off, but that's for different sorts of reasons, not because they don't like what we do. Yeah. But look, I would have to say, I don't think there's anywhere in Australia that would do and distribute $1 million to athletes like we do across the Darling Downs. I would go that far to say I don't think there's anywhere in Australia that does it.
Well, there's certainly in Queensland it doesn't happen, and I can't think of any in interstate that it happens. I mean, it's a great concept. I mean, I was a part of it right from the word go. You came to me and asked me to be involved, and I thought, yeah, look, this is a great concept, and it's continued on, and the success is just amazing.
Well, that's right. I come to you when I first started it, and with the idea that, well, if I want to have some breakfast and I want to give this money away, you just said, okay, Mick, yeah, righto. And it's just developed.
Well, it did.
You know, and you were loyal to me, and I'm a great believer in loyalty, and that's why the sponsors are stuck. I think the thing about sponsorship, you've got to show them what you're actually getting. You know, you just can't get a sponsor and say goodbye. You've got to be in touch with your sponsor all the time. Yeah. And I think that's why they keep giving and giving.
These breakfasts are a great way of bringing the sponsors together with the athletes, and they get the opportunity to listen to the athletes and also to enjoy a breakfast, and they can really see with their money making the worth.
Well, and the other concept that we've got too, Ruko, is Speak Up for Sport course. And that's been very successful over 14 years with Karen Smythe running that, who travels from Melbourne. Yep. Every time we do a course, well, just leading it. Yeah, so I think also we don't have a lot of them, so we have quarterly. So I think it's not too much for sponsors. A lot of sponsors are business people, and they can't afford to be away from their businesses. So once every 3 or 4 months is probably a good concept as far as sponsors go. Look, some sponsors, you've got the likes of Neil Mansell and Clive Berghofer, who are just big business people in the town, support the town, love the town, and all the other sponsors that, look, they wouldn't continue to be there. No. If they didn't have a passion for sport.
Well, K&R Plumbing Supplies and Toowoomba Tile Warehouse and Whipples are the major sponsors, if you like, of the junior and the senior. But the many other sponsors that come together and give the support, and you can see the look on the sponsors' faces. They're so delighted that these young kids are achieving unbelievable feats on the sporting field.
And that's exactly right. When they come up and present the award, the sponsor, to the athlete, I have a chance to talk to them and I have a chance to shake their hand. That's my connection, that I just haven't got you for the money. I want you because you love the passion for it. And that's the thing, is that you've got to have that connection.
Yep.
And when we go to the Speak Up for Sport courses, we tell the kids how to go and talk to sponsors, how to prepare yourself, and what you've got to do to try and get that happening.
Well, it's a successful formula, Mick, and it's going to keep going on. Good luck for $2 million. I tell you what, well, you always talked about getting to $1 million. So here we go, $2 million. I think we'll be in wheelchairs coming in here.
Look, it's probably a bit of a pie in the sky, but I said that when we first started, when I first went and met and talked to you.
Yep.
And it was the same with Randy Krause and Nev Reedy. I went and saw them, and the whole thing started, and I said, well, Nev and Randy, I've got this idea, and I want to make it happen.
Yep. And it did happen.
Okay, Mick, you go ahead with it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Well, they've now contributed $150,000 over 20 years.
Exactly.
So,
I mean,
how good is that?
Yeah, good supporters of sport. Mick, congratulations. Keep on doing what you're doing with your committee, and keep on helping young athletes here in the Darling Downs and Toowoomba region.
Well, Rico, I'd just like to say, for all your involvement, and it's only the last couple of breakfasts where we've introduced James, and that's because, just what you said, we're all getting on a bit, and we need to introduce the new blood. And if we can use more and more on our committee to do that, I think that's a good thing, because we've got to make room for the rest of them.
That's it. There you go. There's an invitation if you want to come out and you want to join the Sports Darling Downs committee. Just talk to Mick Smith. He's the president. He's the man that started it off 20 years ago. We're in our 21st year of Sports Darling Downs, and giving young athletes the opportunity to improve themselves overall. This is Peter Rukas for Power TV Australia, and I hope you enjoy our interviews here this morning. We managed to catch up with a good friend of mine, Hayden Seaver. We've been seeing each other for a number of years now, from a young man, and now you're into the wheelchair basketball. Been doing that for a fair while.
Yeah, mate, probably about 2.5 years now. Just sort of getting to the upper tier of the sport now, so it's getting up there.
What other sports in your lead up to basketball? What other sports have got you involved?
So I had swimming there for 5 years. Sort of got sick of that, just individual sports. So then I just jumped ship to the basketball and loved it since.
Well, the basketball's a bit rough and tumble, isn't it? I've watched a fair bit of that wheelchair basketball. Do you get into it a bit?
Yeah, it's not too bad. So we usually just have a few fouls and foot plate and chuck each other out. Yeah.
And have you ever thought about doing anything like, I've seen them play football, rugby and all this sort of thing. Have you tried that?
No, I can't say I've tried that, no, but usually it's for like your quads and stuff.
Yep.
So their hands are pretty buggered and that, so yeah.
Fair enough. And what's coming up for you as far as your basketball sport is concerned? What's doing there?
Yeah, so I've got a tour in Japan coming up for the under-23s. So we'll head over to Kitakyushu for an invitational cup. So hopefully we'll go right there.
Fantastic. And you're looking fit, mate. You're doing a fair bit?
Yeah, it's all right. So I had surgery at the start of the year, so I'm just coming back into the swing of things now. Yeah.
Okay. And mainly in the basketball, is there you're all over the place, or you have a shot yourself?
So usually I try and get the other boys open, but if my shot's there, I take it.
That's the way. And you managed to score a few baskets?
Oh, not this year, no, but I try, yeah.
All right, mate, all the best. It's great to see you here and out and about. And, well, you've always been one of my favourite athletes in the Toowoomba region, and you've done well again here at Sports Darling Downs.
Right, yeah, thanks, mate. Cheers. Good seeing you.
Hayden Seaver, Sports Darling Downs and their breakfast awards, and here at the City Golf Club. And speaking of golf, we've got one of Queensland's most promising young golfers in Cameron Doonerman. Cameron, congratulations. You had a hole-in-one just recently.
Yes.
Where'd you have that?
Coolangatta Tweed.
Coolangatta Tweed, and was it the first one you've ever had?
Yes, it was.
Okay, bring us up to date on what you've been doing and what's happening with you in your golf career.
So over 3 months ago, I had the Australian Amateur where I placed 5th. And then I recently just went away to the Queensland Amateur and the New South Wales Amateur. I came 6th in my age group at the Queensland one and 26th overall in the New South Wales one.
Okay, and what's coming up next?
I head off to Perth in 3 weeks for the Australian titles, which hopefully I can play well.
Well, you're doing a great job from a young lady that started off. How many years ago did you start playing golf? When did you really take it up?
Competitively, probably 4.5 years ago, but just progressed steadily from there and got to where I am today.
And your handicap now?
2 still.
2. So I can recall when you started off 45, I think it was, or something like that. So you really have improved. Tell me something. What's the long-term goal?
My long-term goal is to be a professional on the LPGA tour, but that's the big picture. In the future, just looking at making the Australian team, hopefully this year or next year, and then we can work towards being a professional.
Well, that's the way to go. And I guess what you've got to do is you've got to get down to scratch these days to be able to compete at that level. So the hard work being put in. Who's your coach?
Chris Gibson. He's at Royal Queensland in Brisbane, so I travel down there once every fortnight. So definitely helps having the parents I have with all the support, and even Sports Starling Downs and these opportunities for young athletes to progress.
Well, I guess you've had a few mentors along the way, and your stepdad's a great mentor, and of course he's on the bag, he caddies, and you've had some great help from other professionals here locally in Toowoomba. Yeah,
definitely. My stepdad's a big mentor with me and my stepbrother Quinn, and it's really good to see that there are people like that helping out young athletes to chase their dreams.
Well, you're chasing a dream, and I know your dream, and you keep it real and just make sure that you get there, and you will. I know you will, because you're a very great athlete. Good on you, Cam, and great to talk to you this morning.
Thank you for having me.
One of our athletes that is certainly an outstanding athlete in the sport of Muay Thai is Brandon Spain. And Brandon, you've done it again, an Australian title.
Yeah, sure have. I came away with the Australian title 7 weeks ago against Tyson Faulkner, and winning an Australian title at a professional level, is the pinnacle for the
The thing is, the difference now is that you're in that professional level, and it's a big step, isn't it?
Huge step. As I'm only 19 years old, and everyone I'm fighting is 20 and above. So
you won a junior world title, and that sort of sets you on the way to looking at taking on the sport professionally. And I know you got a great coach in your dad.
Yeah, definitely. I won my world title when I was 15, and that it just made my eyes get ready and set for that goal.
Well, your dad was a great fighter as well in Muay Thai and kickboxing, and was that something you always wanted to do? Was it something you aspired to?
Yeah, definitely. My dad fought over in Thailand back in the day, and you always want to aspire to be what your dad was, pretty much.
Yeah, fair enough. And what about some of the opportunities overseas for you as a fighter?
Huge opportunities. I've been offered China already, and a couple of other fights, obviously in Thailand as well. So it's just above and beyond for me now.
And taking its toll. I mean, you're only 19 years of age, but how's the body holding up?
Really good, really good. I've had a few nickels here and there, and expected a couple of tears in ligaments in my ankles, but because of the cryotherapy, I'm fixing myself.
Of course, you and your dad have got the cryotherapy here in Toowoomba, and I've used it myself. Not that I'm any athlete these days, but I tell you what, you got a great system there. Tell us about your preparation. What sort of things you've got to do to prepare for a big fight like that Australian title?
Yeah, you have to dedicate your life pretty much. You've got that 8-week period or 10-week period where it's training twice a day, 6 days a week, and Sundays aren't going seeing your friends. Sundays are rest days. So. And,
of course, nutrition plays a big part in that.
Huge part. When I was younger, I didn't look after my nutrition as well, but now I've got great sponsors behind me, and, they keep me in tip-top shape.
Tell us about this Get Chopped.
Get Chopped is Jimmy's Chop Shop, boys. You just go online and buy a shirt, and you go in the winning to win a car. So nothing better if you're an Aussie, you want that Aussie muscle car, go get it.
And they've been great supporters of you. They're supporting a lot of athletes, actually.
Yeah, huge. Another fellow that won an award, Corey Anderson. So they're supporting. So what they do for Toowoomba athletes and Australian athletes, junior athletes, is amazing. And
Dad's away at the moment over in Thailand, is it? With these. He's an Australian coach at Muay Thai. That's a fantastic achievement as well.
Yeah, huge achievement for Leon, coaching the senior team and the junior team. So he's coaching 2 Australian teams this year.
All right, mate. Well, all the best for the future. We hope that you do well, and I know you will do well. Just keep training hard.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Good on you, Brandon. Brandon Spain, in the sport of Muay Thai. Well, it's always great to catch up with athletes that you've watched growing up, and I've watched this young fella come all the way through, Sports Darling Downs Awards, and Conor McLaughlin, another award. Tell us about where you're up to at this time. I haven't seen you for a while. Tell me what you've been up to.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's pretty much the same old, just training as much as I can, sort of 8-9 times a week, down at uni, as I was saying before. And yeah, sort of just trying to progress and as I said, keep moving up with the big fellas.
Okay, what disciplines are you working on at this time?
Just discus at the moment, yeah. So I sort of gave hammer up a couple of years ago just to sort of focus on discus. I think that's more my body structure. I think genetically I'm more able for discus. So hopefully I can, as I said, keep improving.
Okay, and your professional life, I mean, you're at uni, Australian Catholic University. What are you doing down there?
Yes, I'm studying physiotherapy. I'm in my second year there, so I got about a year and a half left to study, and then a year of prac. And then after that, it's sort of up to debate whether I stick around at uni and sort of go into the medicine avenue, or whether I've had enough of study and sort of get into the working life.
Okay, well, I suppose you've been inspired by the performance of Matt Denny at the University Games over in Europe, and of course he's also continuing on in the Diamond League over there.
Yeah, he did fantastically at the World Uni Games. It's an honour to say that you sort of trained with him and grew up with him. I suppose on the other side of things, he's my biggest competitor now. We're in the open age group, so he, as you said, he's competed at the Diamond League. I don't think he threw quite as well as what he wanted to, but in saying that, his bad throw is a lot further than mine still. So that's fantastic for him. So all credit to Matt. Yeah.
So you've got to do a little bit more work. Tell me more about your family and your sisters. They're starting to come on.
Yeah. So Bella and Rosie, you'll see Rosie in a second. They've sort of been throwing. I suppose they sort of grew up with me throwing and sort of just tagged along to the sessions and ended up making a habit out of it. So they're doing fantastically, and I'm super proud of the girls.
And of course, your training regime. What's the long term for you? What are you looking at?
So at the moment, I'm probably not quite at the level of next year's Olympics. I'd like to, but at this stage, it's looking unlikely. So based on that, probably looking at 2021 World Unis, 22 Com Games, and then 2024 Olympics.
Okay, well that sounds like a plan, and I know you're capable of it. So all the best, and great to see you again.
Thanks very much, Peter. Cheers.
Well, athletics runs through the veins of the McLaughlin family in Toowoomba, and so many outstanding athletes in the family. And we've joined by one of them, Rose, an award this morning at the Sports Darling Downs. What made you get into athletics? Was it Conor? Was it following your big brother?
Yes. So I was about 3 when I started, and that Conor just wanted me to get in there. So.
And there's a bit of sibling rivalry because Bella's going well as well. Where's she now?
Well, she hurt her back, so she's off. But she was going pretty good, but she'll probably get back in it and probably do amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So is there any sibling rivalry in the family? Do you have a bit of a dig now and again at the breakfast table?
Oh, well, when I try to get the record, she tries to make me not get it, but yeah.
Okay, tell me about your career. What have you been doing and some of the achievements?
At this Melbourne, I'm doing hammer and disc, and I've stayed for about 3 weeks, and then I've just been training for them. Okay,
who's your coach, and what do you do about strength and conditioning?
So my coach is Pitty, and so about 3 weeks, 4 days of the week we do gym, and then the other just throwing.
Okay, and does it involve a lot of weights, or is it more stretching, or what do you do?
It's probably quite a lot of weights. We just listen to Pitty and do the weights. Yeah.
And working on your technique is an important thing. I mean, Pitty, we're talking about Graham Pitt. I mean, he's a fabulous coach, an Australian junior athletic coach, and one of the best. Is that something like a bit of a family sort of a connection as well with Pitty?
Yeah, since I've been with him for like 9 years, we've kind of come in like a little family, and he just makes training fun. So
he does, and he's brought on so many great athletes, Rose. So that's the thing. What year are you in at Fairholme, and what are you going to do? Are you going to go all the way and then continue like Conor, maybe to university?
Yeah, so I'm 12 at the moment, so I'm in grade 6. And yeah, hopefully I'll get up to Olympics in a motor, but we'll just see.
Okay, well, we wish you all the best, and I know, as I said, athletics runs in the blood of the McLaughlin family, and it's great to see little sister giving big brother a little bit of a push along.
Yeah, just try to get Conor doing his thing, but yeah.
Well, make sure that when you do win one, stick it into him and make sure that you give it to him.
I will, I promise.
Good on you, Rose. Thanks for joining us. Well, another successful Sports Darling Downs breakfast, and a number of young sporting stars being recognised through sponsors providing money for them to improve their athletic performances in the sports that they choose. This has been Peter Rukas for Power TV, This Week in Sport in Toowoomba.
That's it for another edition of This Week in Toowoomba, brought to you in conjunction with the Power FM radio group.